So the Dressrosa arc is finally wrapping up. Finally, chapter 794 was nothing short of amazing. Y'all have to excuse me. I'm pretty new to the manga review. So if you have any tips or any type of reviews, definitely leave it down in the comments below. Okay, spoiler alert. We finally get the backstory for Sabo that we've all been waiting for. I would have been pissed if Oda would have had like Sabo and Luffy part ways without answering all the questions like where was Sabo during the war? It was like a public execution. Everybody's seen it. Why didn't he come to the rescue? Was he, trying to hide in the back scenes, or did Dragon try to pull him back? And if so, why didn't Dragon also come since he found out that his son participated in the war? Luffy. Okay. But back to chapter 794. So right off the back, we get a teaser on the cover with Doflamingo and a flamingo wearing shades. Now, I know I'm not the only one who saw that. It looks like the Saw edition of the Wizard of Oz characters. You have Dorothy, and you have the Tin Man and the Lion with swords. But yeah, it seems to kind of be like a mockery of Doflamingo by having the flamingo utilize his powers. And one other thing that I've noticed is like he was hiding his eyes. It's like he's been defeated. Why won't you show us his eyes? It'd be pretty messed up if we finally got to see his eyes and he had like the Bakugan or the Sharingan or something like that. Or who knows, maybe in the future we might find out, that he's blind, and kind of like on some Daredevil stuff, he's using the strings to basically determine where everything is. Probably not. It's a stupid remark. But yeah, so basically the chapter begins off on Carter Hill. It shows all the Straw Hats, Sabo, Bellamy, and it was kind of weird seeing Bellamy since, he's not part of, the Straw Hats. So I'm trying to figure out, like, who decided to pick him up. But I guess, everyone who, participated in it probably saw the relationship between him and Luffy, or probably saw him and saw that he was he participated in the protection. So they definitely brought him along. So the chapter begins on Carter Hill, shows the Straw Hats, Sabo, and Bellamy. Like, it kind of threw me off when I saw Bellamy, because I'm trying to figure out, like, why would they pick him up? But I guess, of course, whenever, they found Luffy, they probably saw Bellamy there, or possibly Zoro, or someone had stated, hey, let's go ahead and bring him. Don't know yet. Possibly Bellamy could be one of our new Nakama. Pretty much everyone is pretty much knocked out except for Robin, Sabo, and Frankie. So in that particular situation, the chapter is pretty much Sabo explaining to Frankie and Robin what happened in his past, and why he hasn't, been in contact with Luffy. It started off showing how Sabo was injured. We pretty much seen that in the previous flashbacks, where it shows, the ship appearing to be blown up. We see Dragon grab him and attempt to rescue him. We later see, a guy with black gloves. I believe this to be Vegapunk. It really makes sense for Vegapunk to possibly be the doctor on the ship, especially since we found out Kuma was a revolutionary. So Kuma was in association with Dragon. I feel like this is how he was able to secure the deal to protect the Straw Hat ships during like the time skip, because if you remember during the time skip, of course the fish riders looked over the ship, but Kuma was the one who protected them until Frankie returned. As soon as Frankie returned, Kuma sensed them and said, hey, mission completed, and left. Of course, they found out it was a request. We found out through Frankie, and so that kind of makes a little more sense. Also, Ruben, that would possibly explain why Kuma was able to trust his body to become a machine. We may later see that his body is utilized and is used for the revolutionaries, or I don't know. It's so much stuff to think about. But so pretty much Sabo loses his memory. He only remembers that he hated to go back home, and he didn't want to go home. He was stuck on, new beginnings, going somewhere else. So Dragon took him under his arm. You know how kind of messed up that would be to like wake up, not remember anything, not know who anyone is, where you are, but you just know you don't want to go home. So yeah, that was pretty messed up. So you have to feel for him there. He didn't get his memory back until he got word of Ace's death. He kind of had like a deja vu moment and asked Dragon about Luffy. Then it kind of hit him. Literally, he was out for 3 days, like literally. Similar to kind of like how Luffy reacted after Ace's death. It mentions like a 2-year time skip. So I wonder if Robin possibly was with the revolutionaries when he got his memory back. I mean, like, she's listening to the story and she's not chipping in, so I'm thinking this is possibly newfound information, but the time frames that they're giving, I think she had to possibly be somewhere around, maybe not directly with that unit, but definitely somewhere nearby. It shows after the time skip, let's see, it shows a flashback with Luffy talking about the Mirror fruit. Both of them seem to be relieved to see each other alive. They were happy. Luffy literally was attached to him, tearjerker moment. Can't wait to see that in the anime. I think they're really, even though this seemed to be like, a decent sized chapter, I believe this would definitely be like an emotional chapter whenever they finally animate it. But I believe this chapter was pretty much here to answer all our questions that we had in regards to Sabo. I think it may be a moment before we see him again. It was great to, definitely bring back one of the more loved characters, see what happened with the Mirror fruit, and help, relieve a couple of questions that we had. Let's see, they appear to be kind of leaving in a rush. As to how Sabo was leaving on the birds, I can't stop thinking about Itachi. It's great to see so many similarities, even though both of the artists respect each other, and I really want to know what the crows or how the crows related to Sabo in this particular thing. But it would be funny to see like a solid Naruto reference in the manga, even if it's just like an Easter egg or something. But that was my review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, definitely hit subscribe. I will be doing a lot more videos revolving game releases, other anime releases, and definitely movie releases. So definitely keep your ears open, keep your eyes locked, and it'll be more to come. Thanks again.